How many games will the LA Chargers win in 2023? What's going on, Chargers fans? Is it time to bolt up in LA? Will the Chargers return to the playoffs? Will they have a great season in 2023? This is my record prediction for the Chargers and my thoughts week by week, game by game, matchup by matchup on their 2023 schedule. If that sounds good, don't forget to spike the like button and let me know in the comments how many games the Chargers will win this season. Let's go. The Chargers have to be one of the most frustrating teams year in and year out to predict and then see the product on the field. I know that you fans understand where I'm coming from. Last year, I believe the Chargers were going to be a big-time team, breaking out huge, winning playoff games, double-digit wins. They underwhelmed. They did not live up to expectations. That certainly has an impact on what I believe they are this season. But there are some worries about the Chargers, but there's also some potential with the Chargers. I think they have a high ceiling. They have a relatively high floor thanks to Justin Herbert, but let's find out how I see their record turning out this year, and I'm going to give you the potential for the upside that does exist with this team. So let's begin with week 1. They play the Miami Dolphins, Miami, East Coast team, going West Coast for week 1. The Chargers beat them last year. Confused Tua. He had one of his worst games of the season. Brandon Staley had arguably his best coaching performance of his entire head coaching career. I think that holds up. I think that means something. I'm going to take the Chargers here. Justin Herbert also has that chip on his shoulder from being picked after Tua. Week 2, I actually have the Titans upsetting the Chargers for a couple reasons. Mike Vrabel and his defensive scheme, which can be elaborate, confusing, hybrid, something that may throw off the timing with Herbert and his receivers. Secondly, Derrick Henry can be a monster, run the football, control the clock, keep Herbert on the sidelines. They can go on long drives. The Titans' defense is really talented, and the game's in Tennessee. And the Chargers typically lose games that they probably should win. They are more talented than the Titans. I think the Titans have the better coach. That may mean enough for them to get the win. Week 3, I think the Chargers beat the Vikings in Minnesota. Not going to be an easy game. Going to be a bit of a shootout. But I think the Chargers have more of a capacity defensively to make stops. I also think that Herbert can outduel Cousins when it comes down to it in the fourth quarter. Week 4, I got the Chargers beating the Las Vegas Raiders. I almost said the LA Raiders, which is funny because LA is kind of the home for the Raiders. And this is going to probably be a Raider home game that the Chargers are going to have to overcome. But they understand that. I think that Herbert is going to split with the Raiders this year. So the way I see it is, I got the Chargers winning the first game. I got the Raiders winning the second game. The Raiders play at home on a Thursday night later in the year in Vegas, which I just love that new stadium. Love the vibe of the fans there. I think it really gives the Raiders an edge at home. On top of that, I think the Raiders have a formula that can be tough for the Chargers. First of all, they've got good pass rushers from the edge that can get pressure. Secondly, they can run the football. They have the leading rusher in football. They have a very creative offensive mind. I think he'll set up a game plan that's tough for the Chargers defense. And we've seen that in history with Josh McDaniels playing the Chargers. And overall, I just think one team will win a shootout. The other team will win a bit of a shootout too. So I'm going to take the Raiders, the Chargers. There it is. Then we got a bye week. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Chargers, although this is a game I'm highly considering to swap. If I'm going to swap any game that the Cowboys win all year, it's probably going to be this one because it's in LA and it's at home and it's on Monday night. That being said, just like the Raiders, Dallas is going to have like a home crowd in Los Angeles just because that's the way it is. They have a lot of fans. And Dallas has a much more balanced team, in my opinion. They have arguably the best defense in football with a great secondary and a great pass rush. They have a good running game and a good quarterback and a good receiving core. So it's just really difficult to get a handle on stopping and defeating the Dallas Cowboys. But if anyone can do it, it's Justin Herbert at home, making big clutch throws away from pressure of Micah Parsons, and that could be enough for me to switch my mind. At number 7, week 7, I've got the Chargers beating the Chiefs. So this is kind of how I feel. So I don't think you're probably going to beat the Cowboys and the Chiefs in consecutive weeks, but I don't think you're going to leave with 0 wins either. I kind of think you're going to win one of these. And for whatever reason, the Chargers typically play the Chiefs better on the road. Mike Williams comes up big. Brandon Staley makes enough bold decisions. Herbert makes all the key throws. And I think the Chargers will beat the Chiefs this year once. So I do think they'll lose the last game of the season. If the Chiefs need that one to win, maybe they don't, and that helps the Chargers pick up another victory on their schedule. But I think the Chiefs will win one. The Chargers will win one. They'll split. I think the Chargers have enough in the pass defense department, the way they've built their team, and they've got enough explosiveness to move the football to win that game. Then week 8, I think they beat the Bears. I just think the Chargers are the better team. I think they're more complete. I think overall better quarterback, all that stuff, and they're at home. Week 9, I had the Jets, and I'm going to stick with the Jets here, even though I'm highly considering switching this one. So between that and Dallas, I feel like I may switch one of these results. But this game's in New York, cross country, right, on Monday night. Hostile atmosphere in terms of Aaron Rodgers and the Jets on a primetime setting. These fans have been waiting like decades to see this. And I feel like the Jets defense is everything the Chargers don't want to see. It's fast, it's physical, and it can cover. And that's going to be tough. On top of that, Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall running the rock, Garrett Wilson, a lot to handle in that offense. So I think the Jets are a tough matchup for the Chargers. Week 10, I think the Chargers get back on track versus the Lions. A good team, a team that I think will win their division, a team that certainly has a good offense, but I don't think they have the defense to slow down Justin Herbert in LA. Week 11, I actually have the Packers. This is an upset loss. I think Week 11, it's going to start to get a bit cold. The weather is going to become a factor in Lambeau Field. That certainly is the case. I think the Packers are more well-equipped to play in that. And I also feel like this is also a game where I could see this being a bit of a bad matchup. The Packers defense is pretty good against the pass. Good secondary, good cornerbacks, good pass rushers, Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, Kenny Clark. Of course, they have Alexander at corner. And offensively, yeah, Jordan Love, but this is week 11. I think Love isn't going to be that bad. I think he's going to be able to move the ball. Christian Watson's a problem. They got 2 running backs that can do it. So I think the Packers win. Week 12, I switched my mind. I'm going with the Chargers over the Ravens. I initially had the Ravens. I'm going with the Chargers here. I think, for whatever reason, I just feel like the Chargers are going to win this game. Don't ask me why. I just think Justin Herbert's going to make a ton of throws, and he's going to play superb. And I think they're going to have enough on defense to slow down Lamar Jackson. Week 13, I got the New England Patriots. As a Charger fan, you should probably know that the Patriots almost never lose to the Chargers. The Chargers always lose to the Patriots. For whatever reason, Belichick owns the Chargers, owns Herbert. The Patriots have a running game, improved offense, a great defense. It's going to be a tough game in the East Coast, Week 13, where it could also be cold. Week 14, I got the Chargers over the Broncos. Week 17, they play the Broncos again. I got the Broncos at home. Splitting there. Sean Payton will win the second one after he learns what the Chargers did to his team in the first game. And then week 16, I've actually got the Chargers beating the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. I think this is the type of matchup where I've said a couple times, this is not a good matchup for the Chargers. Not a good matchup for the Chargers. This, to me, is a good matchup for the Chargers. They've got the pass rush to disrupt Josh Allen. They've got the secondary to cover Stephon Diggs. The Bills are not a run-first football team. They've never have been. Their defense, I think, can be taken advantage of deep down the field in the passing game. I think Herbert and his receivers can accomplish this. And it's a trip from east to west, from cold to warm for Buffalo. It's a tough game for the Bills and a tough spot. So ultimately, I have the Chargers going 9-8. With an upside, I've discussed this already. They could win 11, 12 games. If everything goes right, if they stay healthy, if Herbert has an A-game performance all year and an MVP type year, it could happen. They could win this division for all we know. But on the other hand, I think they could fall to 7-10, 8-9 if injuries continue to hurt them. if Herbert doesn't quite play that great, if the offensive line gets injured, if Keenan Allen regresses with age, if Mike Williams gets hurt, because he usually does, if Joey Bosa gets hurt, because he usually does, if Khalil Mack regresses with age, if these things continue, then they could regress to outside the playoffs. But 9-8 sounds about right, where they're right on the fringe of the playoffs. They might make it, they might not. They may have to win one more game to get in. But ultimately, I have the Chargers at 9-8. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. It's Mitch. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.